wood style jutsu, water style ninja arts, fire style jutsu, all these jutsus you see in Naruto. Even the main character himself, Naruto, shadow clone jutsu. All these techniques are all possible because of this thing known as chakra. Certain characters have more chakra reserves than others. Via training with your chakra in a certain way, one can say in a mystical type way, ninja training, ninjas have learned to use this energy known as chakra to produce superhuman techniques, increase their physicals, do all kinds of supernatural things, which is why certain beings are gifted in different ways, like certain beings being gifted with certain specific chakra natures that kind of mimic elements in real life, like lightning, fire, blah, blah, blah. Some people have all of them, some people don't have access to all these different chakra natures, but the source of all chakra is technically this divine tree that went berserk, known as the Ten Tails, that wanted to get his chakra back. This being is godlike and is technically the source of all the chakra we know and love, so you know he has to have an immense amount of chakra. Let's talk about him in this video. Ninjas are indeed powerful in their own right, but there's these beasts called tail beasts that exist in the Naruto universe as well, and you can basically tell how strong they are based on their sheer size alone. I mean, look how they look compared to normal sized humans. Tail beasts play a big part in the Naruto series, and there was even points in the series where the tail beast had hosts. They call them Jinchuriki. It's basically a ninja that has a tail beast within them. Some of them can control it and mix their powers together and do extraordinary things, like Killer Bee, for example. Like how he's a superhuman swordsman ninja type character, can produce lightning styled attacks, jutsu, blast power type stuff, but he's one of those few individuals that got introduced in the show that had great control of his tail beast because they was buddies, and he can make like little parts of him the actual tail beast itself, while the rest of his body's like a normal human looking. An example would be how he has his base form, he transforms into his cloak form where he gets like a little of his energy, then he gets even more of his energy. He has such fine manipulation, he can just keep bringing out more of the actual beast to where you can even see some bone of it, to where he can even bring out the full beast of it, kind of like this, but then go into the full mode like this, right? So you got all that down, right? You know how these tail beasts are now, right? What if I told you there was a time when these tail beasts wasn't separate, but they was all a culmination of one, known as this godlike being the Ten Tails? Don't be surprised in this video if you see the Ten Tails have a lot of different looks or forms. There was a lot of different evolutions that happened with this Ten Tails on screen, just to give you a heads up. A big chunk of this video, you're going to see Ten Tails wreaking havoc, right? But the scary part is that a lot of this video, the Ten Tails isn't even in his final form, because it was stated by Killer Bee in this particular occasion that if he ever reached his final form, they're all done for him. And that's a scary thought. I mean, he was already wreaking havoc before. Despite him being incredibly intimidating in this massive size, one can say he's actually more scarier when he's in a smaller humanoid Jinchuriki host-bodied state, because it was even stated when it comes to raw power. When Madara was the host of the Ten Tails for a little bit, it was even stated by Hagoromo himself, the Sage of Six Paths, that he was getting close to him in power. This is kind of a ridiculous statement because the Sage of Six Paths is the reason why he was able to seal the Ten Tails inside the moon, him and somebody else, when they worked together. This is some planet level stuff confirmed here about turning it into the moon. This feat did happen. I'll let that sink in, but let's get it. I will try my best to keep the confusion down in this video. To make this as easy to understand as possible, the Ten Tails is basically this super godlike entity known as Kaguya, and this thing known as the God Tree put together, and it makes this monstrosity, the Ten Tails. Part of the reason why the Ten Tails is so strong is because he's apparently the source of all chakra. Chakra first originated from this divine tree. All of the chakra are here. It's the humans that stole the chakra from the divine tree long ago. This thing's just trying to get it back in this particular occasion. So this inner energy that we know and love in this Naruto universe, this inner energy that he used to use blast power and all that good stuff, wasn't a just thing that was always here. Humans still battle even before the thought of chakra. The tree itself, every millennia, bears fruit. By the way, the tree itself was worshipped, so you know it was a pretty big deal tree. It's not until Kaguya jumped in, ate a piece of the fruit, gained godlike ability, stopped all the wars herself, and was the very first person to ever have chakra. When she had a child, the child was born with chakra, and that's how you get people, ninjas being born with chakra throughout the years and stuff. But the divine tree came alive and started running amok in order to reclaim its stolen chakra. That is the Ten Tails. You see where all this is going? In a weird way, this video is going to feel like a how strong is Kaguya video, just like how strong is the Ten Tails video. It's going to be like both in one could say. So it was basically this tree minding its own business. The tree itself, that's the source of all chakra, ends up getting some fruit, something nobody ever did. Kaguya had to be different, right? She had to eat a piece of something that's the source of all chakra. This ended up giving her chakra. Because of this made her godlike now that she has chakra. because of her eating this crazy fruit, her kids ended up being born with chakra. That's why they were so godlike. You see how the trend just keeps going on and on. So imagine this tree getting mad that his chakra got stolen, basically because she ate the chakra and gave it to her kids because they were born with it. This source of all chakra tree became alive, and that's how that happened. That's how the Ten Tails ended up getting in a battle with him. Yeah, Earth's chakra fruit was very powerful. So Kaguya literally had a change of heart, said, wait a minute, I gave birth to these children that had chakra in them. Wait a minute, I want that chakra back for my own children. Yeah, so she kind of became one with the tree itself to look like the Ten Tails here. And that's how that whole shebang happened with Sage of Six Paths, sealing her up and all that good stuff. Because it's not just the divine tree, but it's mother as well. Her will was to get the chakra back, even though she just had her kids and was like, oh yeah, shit, they got chakra, let me get it back for my own kids. But let's dig further into the Ten Tails power. First of all, I want to say throughout the appearances of the Ten Tails in this show, the power level did vary. Of course, he didn't have every little bit of all the tail beasts and stuff of that such, because that's how Naruto and them was still able to fight it to some degree and stuff like that, but it was still powerful regardless. It's a straightforward being. It has different techniques it can use, like creating shockwaves with waves of his arms or tails or whatever. Ten Tails can make little mini versions of himself, avatar versions of himself that are nowhere near as strong as his prime self. One could say clones of himself to fight, or as a defensive maneuver. Pretty much every tailed beast can fire dense amounts of chakra in the form of a tailed beast bomb. Of course, Ten Tails can do this too. Yeah, imagine what his tailed beast bomb would feel like. You're gonna see in this vid. Can manipulate the natural environment of the world, making cataclysms, and techniques that Ten Tails or the Ten Tails Jinchuriki can do, trap beings in a little cocoon, drain people that way of their chakra. You know how earlier I mentioned the whole thing about Jinchuriki and how tailed beasts can manifest their power with their ninja friend, and they can create hybrid forms together and stuff like that, combining their might? Like, this is the form kind of how like Naruto and them can do, combining their mights together, which is why Naruto has this golden form. What if I told you when it comes to the Ten Tails, the same thing has happened with the Ten Tails, so don't be surprised if you see these characters in this video live. All of this stuff still kind of applies for the Ten Tails' power. They might have a little bit of extra they can add to the fuel, but yeah, a big chunk of their power is because of the Ten Tails being inside of them and hosting its power and stuff like that. Just to give you a small idea of how crazy the Ten Tails is, we know how strong the Nine-Tailed Fox is. He talks about he's the aggregate of all the chakra of all the tail beasts. He was the beginning of chakra and the creator god of many nations. That's crazy to hear this, but even in handbooks, it states that the Nine-Tailed Fox, the one that's in Naruto, not even counting the Ten Tails, says it has the power to turn the world into ash. And even he admits that the Ten Tails is above him. It just makes you wonder, whatever these other tailed beasts can do individually, the Ten Tails can do better, because he's stronger than all of them combined, right? Their individual attacks, separately, not even talking about all of their attacks combined, can easily level mountains. Their blasts are bigger than mountains here as collateral. They even say, the mountains, yeah, implying they're destroying mountains. Scans like this give you a good idea of how strong their blast power is. You can see Naruto overpower multiple tailed beasts by himself, so it lets you know how strong the Nine Tails is, and this also lets you know how strong the Ten Tails is, because the Ten Tails' power is even greater. Their blasts collided to create explosions bigger than islands and mountains. Like, I'm talking about a lot bigger than mountains, like probably 50 times bigger than mountains. Island shattering stuff. Let's talk about the Ten Tails real quick when he was basically depowered, like just literally the shell of his body without having pretty much none of his chakra he usually would have. Choji that was super powered up more than ever before. You know, the guy that can do jutsu to make himself huge. These giant building sized beings, even though they're massive and their weight is massively increased, so is their strength. He said, get off of me. I mean, his abilities is just straightforward. He's super strong, able to literally hold back mountains, even mountain type jutsu, with his raw physicals. And it's probably, one could say, his weakest state. And even then, when it comes to his energy projection, they say he generates too much power. It's pretty much a no-brainer for the Ten Tails to have the blast power to easily level mountains. I'm talking about not just splitting them in half. I'm talking about vaporizing multiple of them. Blast literally looks like a mini nuclear explosion. Even the collateral damage of the blast, there's mountains that are not even necessarily being touched at the moment that are crumbling. They started crumbling before the energy itself touched the mountain, to give you an idea of his blast. It's funny thinking about all the characters in this show on how they got to be smart on how they use their chakra, or they're going to overuse their chakra for the day and they got to wait till the next day to use chakra again. But when it comes to the Ten Tails, it's just straight up called immeasurable. We know how strong Killer Bee's tail beast is. We know he can easily level a mountain, mountains, or even one could say a whole island or a city with his blast. And he does like a whole bunch of blasts against the Ten Tails. The Ten Tails responds with a blast of its own and overwhelms their blast. Run if you face a being that can withstand multiple tail beast bomb and overpower them. Oh yeah, the Ten Tails has crazy durability too, because when the Eight Tails try to use a tail beast bomb on him, he blocks it or redirects it with a finger flick. His body can withstand 2 combined blasts from Naruto and Killer Bee, blasts this big, and can just eat it. I brought up earlier about cataclysms, about the Ten Tails being able to change their environment when it goes berserk, causing area of effect, shockwave type stuff, making thunderstorms, tornadoes, producing all this mess. Like multiple mountains are definitely being blown away from all this mess. Only reason these beings are surviving is because they're cloaked by Naruto. All these tornadoes, this Ten Tails is blasting. Makes his own nuclear-looking explosion mushroom cloud type thing. Madara had to use his freaking Susanoo to block the impact for himself, so he wouldn't get murdered himself. Everybody's protected, though, because of Naruto. This is being caused by the Ten Tails. If occasions like this don't prove he can split a country in half with a blast or two blasts, I don't know what will. This blast radius is so big, you can see multiple impacts with crazy large blast radius. Like, you can see the planet going in a curve. I mean, mountains actually look like pathetically little in comparison to these big blast radius. It's literally talking about how it can split the earth, swallow the oceans, split the land, carry the mountains. I mean, this is how they make it look in the anime. Like, look how small cities looks compared to the collateral of their blast. You know what I mean? He can spam blast like this. Yeah, these kind of explosions can definitely level a country. It should be noted, all this destructive power this beast can put out, just know that there's heavy implication that he can withstand his own power, so his durability is just as crazy, or close, or one could say relative to his blast power. And just in case you thought he was bluffing, he actually does withstand his own blast. Don't get it twisted though, he can indeed damage himself though with his blast, because they talk about occasions like this on how he scorched himself. His blasts are so powerful when multiple ninja, I'm talking about 50 plus ninja use their jutsu to try to make a wall to block the blast. The only thing they can hope to do is to change the trajectory because it's bulldozing through all these defenses. I mean, Kakashi even straight up stated that his blasts are way more powerful than the other tail beast bombs we've seen. He gave one of the strongest tail beasts of all time, Kurama, the being that apparently can turn the earth into ash, he smacked them away like it was no big deal. Not to mention when it comes to his speed, Naruto, even in his powered up state, is faster than he's ever been. He's talking about how fast the Ten Tails is. Do you remember how earlier when I was talking about how the Ten Tails might actually be more scarier when he's in a humanoid hosted body? When somebody's in Jinchuriki of him, like when he's literally sucked up into a being like this? They even mentioned, is he even stronger than he was when he was gigantic? This would make more sense because during these two occasions, the first time he went inside a being, he was powerful like this, but then he even got even better when he was like this. That's not my opinion. They literally stated when Obito had it, he was powerful, but when Madara got it, he was even mightier. This statement kind of adds up with the fact that when Madara got the Ten Tails, he was getting close to the Sage of Six Paths levels of power. Beings that have the combined might to make a moon, the Ten Tails blast seem to make the Susanoo of a Sage of Six Path level being actually exert himself. Hamura and Hagoromo, that's why you see all this collateral damage in the surrounding area. You can even see scratches on them exerting themselves to defeat it. I would have thought statements like this about Kurama having enough power to blow up the planet to be an exaggeration if we didn't see Naruto face off against beings that are in the same clan as the Sage of Six Paths that have the power that have shown on screen to make energy slash attacks that Naruto had to withstand, stuff that can split the entire moon in half. And then we got the Sage of Six Paths beings that actually created the moon with planetary devastation by pulling up a lot of debris from the land to create something moon-sized. When you add these two factors on top of each other, them being planet-shattering level beings kind of adds up with the statements. You got beings in the same clan as these beings. Naruto's fighting beings like this that have the power to move the moon in the newest movie, The Last. And if all this stuff about Kurama is true, and Kurama really respects the Ten Tails and even claims the Ten Tails is above him, so if he can actually destroy a planet, we've seen Naruto fight beings, slug it with beings that can literally split the moon in half. Kaguya, somebody that had the Ten Tails inside of her, you know what, we're not even gonna get on that. She was about to create a ball of truth-seeking orb that had all the chakra natures in it that was going to destroy this current dimension she's in, which is a planet. Bare minimum, she was about to mess up her whole time space. I think it's safe to say it definitely makes sense for the Ten Tails to be capable of planet destruction, or one could say at least bare minimum moon busting destruction type stuff. Planet or moon destruction definitely seems fair. At least can level multiple continents, definitely can level a country for sure. I don't want to be that guy, but there's a reason why when the Ten Tails Jinchurikis, they look similar to Sage of Six Paths level beings. This is not by accident. They're in the similar ranges of power. And they can make moon-sized, working together, of course, planetary devastation-like structures when it comes to the sheer volume of their techniques. And Hagoromo, aka the Sage of Six Paths himself, even stated that Madara in this Ten Tails Sage of Six Paths state When he has the 10 tails, of course, stated that he's getting close to the Stage of 6 pass power. So it kind of adds up. And I'm not really trying to get on Kaguya, but this kind of adds up with Kaguya too. Because part of the reason why Kaguya was so beast, because during the time she got revived, she basically took over Madara while he had the 10 tails. So it was like the 10 tails was still kind of involved in this stuff too. You see, in this occasion, they were talking about how the Chakra was even stronger than the 10 tails, but the 10 tails was still kind of in them, you know, so. But at the end of the day, all of this could be just me. I want to go over Kaguya. I want to have an excuse to go over Kaguya because this kind of relates to the 10 tails too. You know what I mean? But before I get going, I gotta say, thanks for the donations, everybody. Helps out a lot. Respect the 10 tails, or one could say a little taste of Kaguya, or one could say it's 10 tails Jinchuriki. Respect them. Respect Obito 10 tails. Respect Madara 10 tails Jinchuriki, or just respect the 10 tails by itself. Respect the Divine Tree. Respect Kaguya. You know, all that stuff's kind of linked. It gets a little confusing. But yeah, I'll see you later, guys. Respect them. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.